Now, Warframe dev streams are about to be cut in half. Instead of 2 a month, we are about to be just reduced to 1 dev stream at the end of every month, which I think is both a good and a bad thing, which I'll go over in a second. Now, this video is not monetized because of the second half of the video being a little bit on the negative side of things, which I don't like doing. Now, I've been making off this type of video for quite a while. Those of you who follow me know that I don't subscribe to the whole negative aspect of content creation. I've really been trying to just stay as positive as possible over the last 2 years. Right now, there's enough crap I feel going on in the real world without dragging it into the pixelated one. So for just one video, I guess I'll be old school critical potato again. So I apologise for this in advance. Now, the reduction in dev streams is good in a way that it means less hype around content several years in advance, and will hopefully allow them to focus on what's closer to release, and I'm all for that. Give us a better idea of what to expect closer to an actual release date instead of showing us something that's not going to be released for several years. Now, that's something that past dev streams have been very, very good at, is the overhyping of content. Kind of like a magic trick, right? Show you something with one hand to distract you from what's burning in the other hand, right? But this overhyping has inevitably caught up with them. It has led to an increase in anger when the content doesn't exactly show up, or doesn't get released, or gets delayed again, or doesn't match what they actually showed off. Content like the very paradox, or the slow introduction of the new war, that trickle effect. Or worse yet, when it is broken content like Railjack on its release. These can be construed, I guess, as false promises that haven't been met. You've hyped something up that isn't close to what you, I guess, described to begin with. So dev streams play a huge part in all of this, and having less of those could be a good way to reduce the amount of unneeded hype and the amount of disappointment that naturally follows that hype. But then there is the other side of the more regular dev streams, right? The accountability and the goofiness. It's honestly something that no dev stream out there right now does on such a regular basis than what the Warframe dev stream do. The dev streams are honestly one of the few positive aspects of the community I feel right now. One Friday every 2 weeks you got to look forward to seeing something new that's not been seen before, or have more feedback and interaction with the devs of a game that you enjoy playing on a more regular basis, while they speak about issues or what's needing to be fixed and so on. So if shit, I guess, had hit the fan the week of that dev stream, then you would be able to hold them accountable on the dev stream, and they would have to, I guess, try to explain how they were going to fix the issues that was making the community so angry. So it would definitely ease tensions when they could do that on a dev stream. Now that's going to be once every 4 weeks, which could mean less direct responses to issues at hand from the developers, unless they maybe increase their forum or Reddit responses, if, I guess, and when, because we know it will happen, something goes wrong. Now, if this change in dev stream structure allows them to focus more on content that's closer to being released than content that's further down the line, then like I said, I'm all for it. The community needs to get back to where it was, out of this kind of, I feel like it's in a negative spiral, and it has to start somewhere, right? False hype is definitely a good place to start, and I guess fun gameplay loop or enjoyable content after that would be also a really good help. Now, with that being said, I'm going to share how I feel about Warframe, the current game, or where I stand with it right now, and then I'm going to move on, and I'm going to forget this video ever existed and probably take it down in a few months. And I'm going to continue making videos and possibly covering other games as well. And then I will reevaluate and see what happened at the end of the year. Now, I'm not quitting Warframe, okay, just in case you think that's what this video is about. It's not one of those. I'm never going to make one of those videos. This is just my opinion of what Warframe is, or what Warframe has become, from someone who has played since 2013, which is a long ass time. So I guess some of you could say I've definitely got my value out of the game. So my opinion will vastly be different from yours. Some of you asked me to make this type of video, so be careful what you ask for. I don't do these videos often, so let's get to it. Over the last few years, there has been an increased volume of comments, and I guess demands in some of my comment section for me to validate the arguments of other players. It has increased to the point where it's really, and I mean really, not fun to make Warframe videos, and it's one of the reasons my content for Warframe has slowed down. I honestly dread uploading Warframe videos because the comment section is so bloody negative. There's no enjoyment in it. In that time, I guess I could also put it down to the fact that over the last few years, I have had heart surgery twice. I've also lost more than one friend, 3 if I'm going to be precise, to suicide. So it has changed my perspectives. In my eyes, life is too short to, I guess, be getting bogged down by a fucking game, if I'm being honest. But negativity is also why I didn't rejoin the Warframe Partner Program. It's full of it. And the reason I've avoided streaming Warframe as much as possible this year as well. Shit's depressing. It's popular right now in the Warframe community to be negative, and the slew of videos that show up whenever you search for Warframe on YouTube is a symbol of what creators are like right now. But I'm also not blind, right? I would be an absolute fool to deny that the development of Warframe itself and the direction that it's been going in has played a part in me playing less and less of the game. This is just me, but I know that a lot of founders and veterans have similar feelings. Warframe, in my eyes, has become oversaturated, or in a way has kind of lost its identity. It's oversaturated with all of these risks that the developers rightly took, okay, to expand the game and its universe, and while some worked, others just didn't for me personally. And that doesn't mean that they didn't work for you, but I'm just sharing my perspective. They didn't work for me. I really don't like Railjack. I feel like it has split the community into players who like or dislike it. And it's something that they are continuing to push from the developers. Liches are soon to be added to Railjack, which is what they were supposed to be originally, along with the Corpus Liches or the Corpus Queen Pins. But if I'm being honest, if I wanted space combat, I'll jump onto Elite Dangerous and go for a flight in my Corvette. It's not what I look for in Warframe. I enjoy Warframe, or I used to enjoy Warframe, for the fast-paced gunplay. I came from a battlefield background, so jumping into Warframe was completely different, but for me it had such enjoyable gunplay with the power fantasy element thrown in on top of it, which just amplified it. Right now gunplay feels like it's being put to one side. It's not really focused on as much anymore. Now it's just get a melee weapon, spam it as much as possible while making your character as invincible as possible, whether through health armor or shield gating, whatever. Primary weapons and secondary weapons are now being used as elemental primers. Spread elemental effects to as many enemies as you can to boost your melee damage, and then just spam E. So, if I'm being honest, it's become boring. I know, that's saying a lot, right? A horde shooter where you rinse and repeat the same missions and the same enemy types over and over again, becoming even more boring. But someone's going to make that comment in the comment section, so there it is for you beforehand. So now we're in a loop of when new weapons are released into Warframe, if they're not melee weapons, then in the eyes of a lot of players, they're instantly seen as fodder. You know, you're not going to take it because it can't prime, or it's not going to do the damage that your melee weapons can do in the steel path, so you just put it to one side after leveling it. And for me, that's honestly killing the game. I'm not enjoying that aspect of it. Content updates, if we're also being honest, are shallow. I think I heard Cephalon Jizo say it best. Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe it wasn't Jizo. The content updates are as vast as an ocean but as shallow as a puddle. Once completed, you have no reason to ever return to any of these islands. So why are the developers spending so much time developing these islands, knowing that the players are going to abandon them once they're done with them? Why not focus on making a gameplay loop that evolves around that island of content? I think the Unum Tower was something that could have been great. I think it might have been Treboros who had the idea of having this scaling dungeon styled mission, which could have been really fucking good as well. And I understand that's not for us to tell the developers of what direction to go. They've got their idea of what they want for the game. But it wouldn't bloody help to try something. If you're going to risk all of these other things, why not risk something that the community has actually been asking for? There's still one orb mother drowning ever so slowly in a puddle of coolant that we've not fought. There's Deimos, which had potential to give us some seriously grotesque, nightmarish kind of bosses to fight. Night waves that last 6 months at a time or even longer. There's just a lot that I could get into with Warframe right now when it comes to where it's at and why I guess it's gotten to this stage in terms of why the community is as negative as it has been over the last 2 years. But I honestly just can't be bothered spending time being overly negative. Gaming is supposed to be fun. If you're not enjoying a certain game, and I'm going to take this advice myself. In fact, I took this advice 6 months ago on Twitch. If you're not enjoying a game, play something else. And I know Warframe players absolutely hate when someone says, fucking play something else. If you're miserable, if you're not happy, play something else. Find your joy again, or I'll reach through this screen and I'll honestly fucking throttle you. I won't be making a video like this again for a long time. Thanks for watching.